Hello and good evening. My name is Scott Parker. I am the biology teacher here at Downers Grove South. I am your son or daughter's teacher for the 2016-2017 school year. And in this video, I'm going to show you kind of some of the information that I would go through in the open house night in case you're unable to attend or want a quick recap of it. So you have all this access to you, available to you right online. So what we're looking at here is the web page that I've created for the classroom. You can see the web address up top here. If you want a shorter version of it, it's here to the right is kind of the Google shortened version of it, and you can type that into the address bar, and then I would go ahead and bookmark that. You can see kind of the top, we have the kind of the contents that are available. We have some active links going across the middle here. This is course content, classroom, Google Classroom. That's more for the kids. Google Apps is more for the kids. This is some help information that I'll take you to in a minute. We have a home access center that you and your students are able to check grades on. And then you have the online textbook. I did not hand out textbooks to the students this year. They do have the opportunity, if they'd like a hard copy of the textbook, to check it out at the bookstore and bring it home, and then available for them, and then they could return it towards the end of the year. What you see here is a Google Calendar that's created through Google Classroom, and you have access to look at this. What you can see is whenever I create an assignment in Google Classroom, it posted here. If you just click on the blue banner there, you'll be able to see kind of what the homework was and kind of the due dates to the information. So kind of going through some of the content, either course content up here, or you can click here and it takes you to a second section of the web page, and within here is some folders for each one of my units, and as I go through the units, I'm going to populate the different folders, and the information that will be in there are some of the items that are found in their packets, some of the items that we use in the classroom. Okay, so they can click in here and they'll be able to see some of the information that is available to you and also to your students. I also do kind of the flipped classroom style where they have videos to watch and take notes from, and I have the beginning of the year videos. These are just some videos we did in class for goal setting and some other team building stuff. And then you can see in Unit 1, the first video that they'll be taking notes off of is the Nature of Science scientific method. And I'll be teaching them Cornell notes. I'll also having a reading specialist come in and going over the idea of Cornell notes, how to take good notes, how to design good questions, how to summarize your notes, and hopefully get them off to a good step, on the right foot, on developing a habit of creating and developing their notes. So I'll list all the videos for each individual unit. They'll be posted here, but they'll also be posted within a different section within my calendar. Okay, so moving into the unit calendars. Okay, and this is kind of what we work from in class. On the right side here, you'll see as it populates is the Google Calendar that you saw from the first page, and on the left hand side is the document that we will work from in class. I have it set up that you have access to this. So if you want to go ahead and if you expand this here, you click on this, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. You can go ahead and bookmark that, and you have for each unit, and I'll update every unit. I'll change the calendar here so you can see what's happening on what day they are, what's going on in class, and what homework they are having at that time, if you want to kind of help your students stay on track. I also recommend to them in class to write all their homework down so they have access to it and know exactly what they need to finish to be on top of things in class. The course resources is a kind of a working document as I'm trying to populate this as things that might benefit them to study, to review, different websites that could help them out on the particular topics as we start moving into the topics. And then the last part is some of the contact information. The best way to get a hold of me is via email. So you can click right on here and click send me a quick email. When's a good time to call you, a cell phone number, and a brief message. Your concerns or a question that you might have, and I'll usually get back to you fairly quickly. If you go through the email process with me. All right. So moving on from kind of my website is Google Classroom. Now the view I'm going to show you is more of the student view, so you have an idea of what the student's going to see or what they see on their stream. But Google has come out with a new opportunity for parents to get some notifications on what's going on during the week within the Google Classroom. So Basically, Google Classroom is an area where I can post a lot of different assignments for with using Google Docs, and the students are able to get the assignments here through their Chromebooks, and they can turn in their homework through Google Classroom, and I can return their homework through Google Classroom. So it's a way for us to communicate back and forth, for me to pass papers out necessarily digitally instead of physically. They can take quizzes and do other items in here. And so you can see I have numbered each particular thing that goes in here, item. I also will be creating topics as we move forward through here. So the neat part that's the new part that Google has done is they have created an email notification for Guardians. So I have set that up. I just have to input emails, and you will be getting a weekly summary of kind of what we did in Google Classroom. And this is the information that gets fed to my website as I jump back over into the calendar. So as I add assignments in Google Classroom, it will feed into this calendar also. So you won't necessarily have access to this particular page, but you will be getting email summaries from Google Classroom. They'll be sending a notification. They'll ask you to accept the notification that you want to get these summaries, and they'll be coming out on like a weekly basis to you here in the next couple of weeks. Okay, so that's kind of Google Classroom in a brief summary of it. It's more for the students besides the summary that gets sent to you. The third item I like to look at is kind of the calendar that we use in class. Okay, so this is again linked off my class page. You can go ahead and get that from Unit Calendars, or if you go ahead and in this, if you look at the link up top, I can give you a shorter version of it. And this is the short version of Unit 1 calendar. And if you go ahead and bookmark that, and then you have the exact same calendar the kids kind of follow in the classroom. And as you can see here, I basically have what's going on in class each day. I put links in here for different items that they need that will take us off to different pages, different websites, different videos that they need to do. I typically try to plan out a couple weeks ahead of time so the students kind of have an idea what's going on and what they need to complete in case they have sporting events or activities or anything like that after school, so they know exactly what to do. So you can see here I'm kind of planned out till the 16th, a week out or so, and that way they have information and know exactly what they need to do ahead of time. So I would highly recommend that you bookmark these if you want, and you can keep your kids on track. I will also be sending, every new unit, I will send out a little update via email and put the link in there so you can have the new calendar and kind of follow along with us as we move through the semester. And the last part is basically the course description and the course syllabus. So we can all go through this real quickly together if you're viewing this. This email address is my email address. This email address, a few of my classes are co-taught. So this is my other teacher, Miss Elizabeth Fields. We co-teach a few sections together. I am the content specialist. She is the special ed teacher that I work with. And so we teach the class together. We've been teaching together for about 10 years. And this is for my periods 4, 7, and 8. My periods 1 and 2, I teach that class individually. So hopefully your students have already gotten binders. They're all set for class. Most of the papers that I pass out will have hole punches, so I suggest they put them into the hole punch, and we'll go through that so they keep track of all their information. The assessment assignment types here, there's two different ideas. There's assessment for learning, assessment of learning. The assessment for learning is, I like to say, it's the practice work. Okay, it's things that we do in class, some homework that they take home and work on. It's all practice. It doesn't have a point total attached to it. In the grade book you will see as a yes, they completed it, or no, they did not. And so it doesn't directly affect the grade, but it does indirectly affect the grade, because if they're not doing the work, not preparing for the tests and quizzes and labs and other things that we do in class at grade, then we will have no idea if they know the information or not. And the second assessment here is the assessment of learning. These ones in the grade book that will have an AOL, and those are the items that will affect their grade positively or negatively. They have points totals attached to them. It could be general assignments, it could be labs, blogs, quizzes, tests, semester grade, anything information like that. And the way I describe the two is, I tell the students that they're not gonna think they have a game on Friday night. They're not gonna practice all week and then show up to a game and think they're gonna do well. Well, same idea in class. You need to do the assessment for learnings, the practice work, in order to know you're prepared for the assessment of learnings, which is the big sporting event, say a football game on Friday night. This way, the test and quiz is like that big football game that they need to be prepared for, but they have to do all the practice work in order to know that they're ready for it. Or if you have a recital or a dance or whatever it is, they need to do all that practice in order to get ready for the game time, which is the assessment of learnings that will affect the grade book. So to recap the two, assessment for AFLs, those will be yes and no's in the grade book, and they don't have point totals attached to them, but they are prepping the students to take the anxiety away from doing the work to actually trying to do the work the best they can, and coming into class and we go through the work and go through and make sure they're checked for understanding, and the assessment of learning, or AOLs, will have the point totals attached to it and affect the grades. Okay. Looking at homework, late homework here that you can see, the late homework policy is if it's not turned on the day it's due, it is then going to be marked tardy, 20% off before I start grading it. You can see here the classroom rules, grading scale, okay, how I do semester grades. The final assessment that I give my students, we do a pre-assessment right in the beginning of the year we did, and then I give them the same test at the end, which is the post-assessment. And hopefully, obviously we're looking for huge growth there from the beginning to the end, but I won't have a traditional final at the end. We usually do a project or a big lab, and so their semester grade is determined by what we do all semester. It's not 20% for the final exam. With the final assessment, we'll be doing project or a big lab at the end, but no final assessment, as in the 20% of their semester grade. When you go on Home Access Center, you will see that there's some codes that we use. Y is for yes, N is for no, Z is the 0, meaning it wasn't turned in and they received a 0 on the work. And the last thing you see there is the X, it's just basically excused, or the work was excused for them. And if your son or daughter is ever absent, it's their responsibility to arrange to make up tests or quizzes. We do have a testing center that they can go on their off periods and take that, or in the morning and arrange a time with me. I'm always available in the morning by 7:20 in C252, and by appointment in the afternoon. If the students need to stay, they can ask me in the afternoon to stay. So again, in the morning, 7:20, I'm always available for help. And the best way for you guys again to get a hold of me is through email, and hopefully this video has helped you guys out, helped the parents get a better understanding of class a little bit, kind of some things we use in class. And again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Have a great night.